The Mavericks win in dramatic fashion in Portland as Luka Dončić returns with a vengeance as the Mavericks win their third straight game. We break it all down here. Coming up next on the Dlls MAVS postgame show. Here we go. Hey, what's up, Dlls Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella, and our national NBA insider, Mark Stein. We are Dlls Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single game night at Kevin Gray Sports, at Tim_Cato, at Bobby Carella. And you can always dial up the Stein line at the Stein line. The Mavericks win 137-131 on the road over the Portland Trail Blazers. The returning Luka Dončić drops 36 points in the win. PJ Washington's go-ahead three-pointer with 54 seconds left delivers the win for the Mavericks, as they have now won 8 of their last 9 games. Now a season high, 5 games above 500 at 13-8. We'll break it all down here for you over the next hour. Plus, we really appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Sports here on YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to us while you are here. Let us know what your favorite moment was in tonight's game, and we'll shout you out here on the show. I already see you in the chat, Dennis. I see you, Ronald. I see you all in there already. As gentlemen, a dramatic win for this team. Luka Dončić returns after missing 5 games with a wrist injury. Quentin Grimes goes for 28 points in this game. A fantastic shooting night for both teams. A little too good at times when it came to the Portland Trail Blazers. But gentlemen, they overcome it. And the Mavericks now are 13-8 on the season.
Ooh, that was a lot of shots that went in.
A lot of shot making.
A lot of three-pointers from the Portland Trail Blazers. A lot of half-court offense. A lot of offense just in general. That was a game that, I don't know, man. You just get to the end of it, and the stats are wild. And, you know, the half-court offenses were scoring, you know, at a rate that's better than the best offense in the league. And that's the half-court offense. Like, they weren't even that good in transition. This was a, I think it's safe to say that this is going to be a one-of-a-kind game for this season. And when you're struck with this moment where you're facing a game that has circumstances that are outside or beyond what you're usually going into a game and facing, like when Dallas plays the best offense in the league, the Boston Celtics, it's not going to, you know, or the Indiana Pacers, it's not going to look like this. It's going to look a little bit different. This was a very unique, unusual win. And that's I think from the Mavericks perspective, that's the important thing. It was a win.
You never apologize for a win in the NBA on the road, second night of a back-to-back, when a bunch of dudes on the other team are shooting 30 percentage points better than what they're supposed to. Portland, coming into this game, I said it on the pregame show, number 30 out of 30 in effective field goal percentage. This is the worst shooting team in the league, or at least was. After tonight's game, they're probably in the top 10. But like, they were shooting out of their minds. Their best player fouled out of the game with like 9 minutes left or something, and they kept shooting well even without him. Like, historic. I got a bunch of numbers about how rare of a sight tonight was. The Mavs won. You don't apologize. You take your win, say thank you very much, I'm getting the heck out of here, and you move on.
They can say it now because they escaped and they survived the shooting onslaught, but this turned out to be a pretty idyllic script, I would say, for a team that before tip-off, it was just, oh, he's out, oh, he's out, oh, he's out. I mean, long injury list. Kyrie desperately needed a break. Like, even if Luka couldn't have come back tonight, they needed to give Kyrie a rest. I mean, you brought it up last night. I mean, he played 19 of the first 20 games. I mean, so to be able to give Kyrie that rest, we don't know the severity of the Lively injury. Klay Thompson's now missed 4 or 5 games in a row.
4 straight.
For Luka to come back tonight and for him to play at a level where like he didn't even look like he was gone, and to get out of here with that's saying you don't apologize for a win, any win. You definitely do not apologize for any road win.
Ever.
On a second night of a back-to-back, you sweep a road back-to-back, even though Utah and Portland are widely known as the only 2 teams in the West that aren't going for the playoffs. It doesn't matter. A road back-to-back sweep, you will take that every single time. And to get Luka back, to get Kyrie the night off, I mean, it will be... I have to double check this. I imagine they're not flying home until tomorrow, actually.
Oh, no, for sure.
But it will be a very pleasant flight back home.
The Mavericks now 4-1 on the second night of a back-to-back this season. Luka Dončić, 36 points, 13 assists, and 7 rebounds. Played 36 minutes tonight for Dallas. The Mavericks had 6 guys in double figures as Spencer Dinwiddie had 20 points. He was a plus 14 in this game. The shot making was simply off the charts when you start looking at some of the numbers from this game from a statistical standpoint. The Blazers went 18 of 31 from the three-point line, shooting 58% from 3. The Mavericks shot 50% from 3 themselves, going 18 of 36 from downtown. Blazers shot 58% from the field. Mavericks shot 55% from the field. What I'm trying to tell you is defense was optional tonight in Portland as both teams' shot making was absolutely incredible. The Blazers themselves had 6 guys in double figures, led by the aforementioned Anthony Simons, who had 27 points, 24 of which came in the third quarter alone, where he single-handedly kept the Blazers in it. If it wasn't for Quentin Grimes' three-pointer at the buzzer at the end of that third period, we would have had ourselves a tie ball game, but the Mavericks led 100-97 at the end of 3. We'll get into all the moments specifically that made up this game, including some crucial ones in the fourth quarter, including the Mavericks, yes, Jacob, winning a challenge that was pivotal late in the fourth quarter as well. But, gentlemen, as we kind of look at the numbers, with especially the Mavericks, with the amount of guys that they had in double figures, I mean, we're going to talk about them throughout the course of the show. But Spencer Dinwiddie, and Tim pointed it out before we started the show, Quentin Grimes has set career highs in each of the last 3 games. Tonight going for 28
team highs.
Team highs, I'm sorry. Yeah. With 28 points, going 9 of 13 from the field, 5 of 7 from downtown. Tim, Quentin Grimes continues to play spectacular. Played 35 minutes tonight in a starting role, and they needed every bit of the 28 points that he gave them tonight.
Yeah, he was really good. He was kind of the player like a weirdo version of Josh Green. I'm kind of stealing Bobby's thunder. Bobby likes to refer to Quentin Grimes as Josh Green. They have some same idiosyncrasies, but Quentin Grimes was really good as an extension of what was happening with Luka Dončić. And me and Bobby both talked about this on the pregame show. We talked about how very likely Luka was going to come out and he was going to face a Portland defense that was going to allow him to run pick and roll, and that there's going to be some lob dunks. I believe there's 2 lob dunks within the first 14 minutes, would you say?
Ish.
Yeah, 14 or so minutes of the game, 2 completed ones. And after that, it did kind of turn into, it turned into a situation where they're doubling everything. Luka was kind of cooking one-on-one, and then they had to double. And they had to double because Anthony Simons was on the court. And he had 4 fouls, and there's no choice but to double. And when you're doubling, all of a sudden, it does become those guards, those outlets, they become available. They become available, and they have to beat 4-on-3 coverage. They have to just make the shot if they're open. And Quentin Grimes hit a few of those. And then there are situations where, Quentin Grimes was attacking. He was finding outlets. Spencer Dinwiddie certainly did a lot of that. There's absolutely a reason that he played 34 minutes tonight. And so the game did kind of play out like that, and Portland had no answer at any point for Luka and for the offense that Dallas was running, and vice versa. And we can talk about this. I would say Derek Lively was the main reason, his absence. But yeah, Dallas had a lot of struggles, and then just shots kept going in from Portland. There's definitely some bad defensive. I think when Jason Kidd gets to the film session, if they have time for one before a very important game with cup implications on Tuesday, if he has time for it, I do think that Jason Kidd will be disappointed with the defensive effort, even beyond all the shots that went in. But in some ways, you just have to look at all the shots that went in and say, That's going to happen once a year. I don't think any team is going to shoot 58% against the Dallas Mavericks for the entire rest of the regular season.
Ardell, look at the super chat number he chose. 526 from Ardell. I get it.
Grimes Dinwiddie. Well, we got a Grimes Luka too. How about that?
Yeah, good.
Ardell, shout out, man.
Good teams find a way to win more Luka mid-range. Please, Ardell with the $5.26 super chat. We got another one as well coming in from Hanzo, the $5.77 super chat. Great win considering we just witnessed the most
Fugazi.
Oh, Fugazi shooting from the Blazers. I almost couldn't read that. You could actually see the ball gravitate toward the rim with every shot. I mean, to your point, the amount of shots that the Blazers were taking and hitting from three, I mean, none more of an example than what Anthony Simons did in that third quarter alone, with the 24 points, going 8 of 10 from the field, went 5 of 6 from downtown. The Blazers went 6 of 9 from three in that period, 15 of 21 overall from the field. Mavericks weren't too shabby themselves. In fact, they actually made more threes in the period than the Blazers. They went 7 of 9 from downtown in that period, going 14 of 21 from the field. That's because Jaden Hardy got them started big in that third quarter. He hit 3 threes, had an assist. Quentin Grimes had a 3 as well. The Mavericks started that third quarter on a 16-7 run in the first 3 minutes to take what was a 12-point lead with 9 minutes to go in that third quarter. That was just a sign of things to come, because you look at the final 3 quarters for the Mavericks from a scoring standpoint, they were down 29-25 at the end of one. In the final 3 periods, the Mavericks scored 36, 39, and 37 points in each of the final 3 quarters to get to that 137 mark. Again, just fantastic shot making from both teams. If you loved offense, this was the game for you, because both teams were filling it up. But you give the Mavericks a lot of credit. I like the word that Devin Harris used during the postgame show on Mavericks TV, and it was talking about composure. You withstand what was a massive run by Anthony Simons in that third, Bobby, but at the same time, the composure at which the Mavericks played with tonight was something to watch, given the kind of shot making that Portland had tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think that the Mavs necessarily did too much stuff wrong on defense. Portland was just really, really, really hot. And in games like that, where the other team is just, it's just like, dude, what can you do? You know, like, what can you do? Now,
their defensive mistakes did start coming more once the shots went in, and there was like a hopelessness to it. And I think that might have affected the psyche. And that's
500 people watching us, by the way. 500.
Let's go.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Let's set a record tonight. Sunday night, Cowboys didn't play. It's the Mavs city. It's the Mavs town. Let's set a record tonight.
I need 100 of y'all to at least hit that subscribe button as well.
But like whenever stuff like that happens, it's very easy to like hang your head, get caught up in it. Of course, everybody's going to remember like that arena was a house of horrors in 2011 whenever Brandon Roy just went off, and like things can get off the rails in those situations. But dude, like if Toumani Camara is going to make 5 out of 7 threes, it's like, okay, I mean,
tip your cap.
Yeah, fine. You know, like
you shouted after all 5 though. You shouted.
Well,
you
I'm
shouted
like, oh my god,
you shouted
like,
in disgust.
just miss a shot. Like, please miss one of them and see what happens. But like, you know, it's kind of one of those things. Like, I'm not gonna overreact to this 25% shooter, this 30% shooter making a 3. I'm not going to. Like,
it's a 37% shooter.
Okay, yeah. Talk to me in
like
talk
or
to me
subscribe to the show, and I will tell you where you can find an iPhone cord just like this.
He's probably a 40% shooter
people.
after tonight.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just it's you know, don't lose your mind. Just keep playing basketball. You have to understand that the Blazers are not a very good team, and if you just stick to the game plan, you'll probably win at the end of the game. This thing just broke off. I don't know. I'm gonna try and fix it.
By the way, PJ Washington with 14 big points tonight. He was a +7. His go-ahead 3 with 54 seconds left delivers the Mavericks a win, as they now continue what is a torrid streak, winning 8 of their last 9 games, continuing to climb up the Western Conference standings. We are, gentlemen, officially 1/4 of the way through the season, and your Mavericks, after 21 games, are 13-8 and playing extremely well. They will get back on the floor, of course, on Tuesday with NBA Cup implications, Mark Stein, when they take on a equally as hot Memphis Grizzlies team. But a win tonight without several key guys in your lineup. Obviously, no Kyrie Irving, no Klay Thompson, no Derek Lively II, no Najee Marshall as well. but 77 returned with an absolute vengeance and was able to help lead the Mavericks to this win. Coming up next year on the Dlls Maps postgame show, the turning points of this game, the moments and plays that shaped this win for the Dallas Mavericks, and how they were able to find it against the Blazers. All that and more coming up next year on the Dlls Maps postgame show. But first, it's game time here on the Dlls Mavs post-game show. If you love going to basketball games, football games, concerts, movies, wherever you like to go, Game Time can help you get those tickets. I'm going to WrestleMania in April at Allegiant Stadium, and Game Time was able to help me pick out my seats with panoramic seat view so I could see exactly where I was going to sit before I even purchased my ticket. They've got the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference, all in pricing, which shows the total upfront price with no surprise fees at checkout as well. So if you love going to all of these kinds of events, you've got to check out Game Time to be able to get your tickets. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry as well. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time. Gentlemen, what time is it?
Game time?
Who?
Whenever Anthony Simons hits another three, you're just going to collapse to your knees in the floor. And luckily, your knees will strike the soft, comfortable, but sturdy floor provided from our friends at Empire Day.
Good transition.
Where you can get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. They keep shopping for floors simple with a curated product selection. With their virtual floor designer, you can shop for floors where you use your floors, not where you lose your floors, where you use them, no losing them. Just snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, in your bathroom, wherever you use them. And you can see with your lighting, with your decor and everything, you don't have to go to a big box store. You don't got to get ripped off by some grifter. No, you can do it all at home. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DLLS for details.
Nearly 500 people watching us live here on the Dlls Maps postgame show. Really appreciate all of you joining us here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports. Also, download and subscribe to the podcast as well, wherever you get your podcasts for free. Give it a 5-star rating and write a review for it while you're there. Mavericks win 137-131. What were the turning points in this game? The moments that define how the Mavericks were able to get it done on the road in a game that saw the return of Luka Dončić, and he got a lot of help from his teammates, particularly Quentin Grimes, who had 28 points in this game. Spencer Dinwiddie had 20 points, was a plus 14 in this game as well. But, gentlemen, let's just jump right to that fourth quarter where the Mavericks started that fourth quarter outscoring the Blazers 13-6 to take what was a 10-point lead at 113-103. Anthony Simons then fouls out with 8 minutes left in the game. That was definitely one of the turning points when you think about what he did in that third quarter.
Really bad foul.
Yeah, on a really bad foul after scoring, 24 points in that third quarter. Anthony Simons fouling out, and the Blazers still were able to shoot the ball well, but at the same time, the Mavericks continued to push. The Blazers closed within 4 at 115-111 with 6:40 left, but Luka Dončić had 4 quick points to get them back up by 8, and then it became a seesaw battle back and forth in what was a dramatic fourth quarter based off of what we were watching there.
And it was Dwight Powell who drew that for 6th foul on Anthony, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Chasing down his own missed free throw.
Yeah,
that's right. Energy.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens whenever you play with energy. Sometimes the other guys make mistakes whenever you play really hard.
Yeah, it was.
Take note.
It was a back and forth, obviously, in the fourth quarter. There was moments where I felt a little bit differently about how the game was going to go than I did last night against Utah. Some of that was just that Dallas just didn't have the depth. You know, Daniel Gafford left the game, then came back in, and he was fine, but he wasn't closing. Maxey was in there for how long? He played 27 minutes. Is that the most he's played all season?
It's a lot for him on a back-to-back.
Yeah, that's a lot for him, and especially, well, on the offensive end, he was not particularly effective. He was not particularly convincing, and there was just a lot of things
Estonia.
Shout out to the folks watching in Estonia.
What former Maverick is from Estonia? One guess. Come on.
I know the answer.
Just say
Of course,
it.
Guess
Bob.
it.
Martin Mursep, right?
was a good one.
Nice
Go.
job. Nice
Okay,
job.
What about
that.
from Iceland?
I forgot his name.
No.
Oh,
Jan
wow.
Stephenson.
The encyclopedia should be
There was
on.
somebody.
What's his name again?
Jan Stephenson.
There was somebody earlier who
Stephenson.
checked in from Antarctica.
Yeah,
I don't know if I believe.
I don't know if that's
Pixar-
Oh,
certain.
Pixar
you're
didn't
calling
happen.
the people in our chat liars. This is unbelievable to me. Me personally, everybody in the chat,
I said I don't know.
I believe everything you've ever said. Every single comment,
That's
except
sweet
the
of
ones
you.
that were wrong.
As we continue with the fourth quarter, because we're going to get to a lot with Luka Dončić here in just a moment. Check this out. So the Mavericks led 125-124 with 2:23 left. That was after the Blazers had a basket wiped out during two offensive basket interference that would have given them a 1-point lead. So the Mavericks get away with one there. Then Denny Avdia gets a 3-point play to tie it at 127. But then PJ Washington knocks down the go-ahead three-pointer with 54 seconds left on what was a bailout pass from Luka Dončić to PJ Washington in the right corner as the shot clock is running down. The Mavericks would go lead 130-127. Avdia then gets a bucket to get the Blazers back within one with 49 seconds left. And then Spencer Dinwiddie, who had himself one hell of a night, as he's dribbling up the floor, it looks like it appears on first call that he pushes off on Avdia. The Mavericks decide to challenge it, Jacob. They win the challenge, calling it a foul on Denny Avdia, and Spencer Dinwiddie was able to calmly knock down 2 free throws to push the lead back up to 3.
I'm sorry, Kevin. Did I hear you right? They won?
They won a
challenge?
challenge.
You
They
can do
made a
that?
challenge and actually won the challenge.
I knew that it was legal for other people. But this team, I have yet to be convinced.
And they did win it. And then
No, go ahead.
I'm saying they did win. He knocks down the free throws, and the Mavs were able to seal it from there.
We've covered this ground before, but are we ready to put a bow on it? Because I remember there were a lot of people who were upset that the Mavs didn't sign Dennis Smith Jr. when they had the chance. They also looked at Talen Horton-Tucker. They signed Spencer Dinwiddie for a reason. You have to say, look, we're only a quarter of the way through the season. But the knife, Quentin Grimes, Spencer Dinwiddie, the around the edges moves have all
3 for
hit.
3.
Have all hit.
Shout out real quick to Joe Miloju saying, I'm from Nigeria. We have someone from Mexico. We have somebody. So someone was in from Nigeria. Someone's in from Hong Kong. People are in from Europe. People are obviously in from North America. Someone says they're from Antarctica. There's always a couple people from Australia in here. I saw someone say that they're watching from Djibouti as well.
The knife, Ardell.
Is anyone watching from South America? Because if so, that's all 7 continents.
Let's go.
That's all 7 continents if the Antarctica guy wasn't lying.
Hey, every passing year, the population on Antarctica grows.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
there's
true.
more and more bases down there
Yeah,
because
it's,
there's probably like
it's
oil down
more
there,
just
that's why,
more
but
composure
anyway.
stuff. So let's go back to the Miami game. The end of that game, there were some extenuating circumstances perhaps as to why Dinwiddie was out there and other players weren't. But kind of the thing that J Kid was alluding to is like, post game that night was like we're trying to experiment with some stuff and see what happens. Which, in my opinion, even in the moment, I was thinking this means taking Kyrie. Luka did not play that game, right? Luka was out that game. Taking Kyrie off the ball and playing through Dinwiddie and trying to get Kyrie involved. It obviously didn't work out that night, but the Mavs have gone back to that in close games since then. They've gone back to that throughout games since then. And tonight, Portland was doubling Luka quite a bit, and so Dinwiddie was running a lot of stuff. And so I think, and Dinwiddie down the stretch was. Defense is another story. Offensively, Dinwiddie was pretty good down the stretch. He's very stable. He's kind of a stabilizing force at guard. Whereas, given your other options tonight,
Javier says he's from Peru.
let's go, Javier.
That's
all
is.
7.
That's all
we
7.
did it. We did it.
Let's go.
Woohoo!
Do we have anyone from Mars?
Or the International
going.
Space Station. But
ISS.
you do all these reps like the other guards available tonight. Hardy, I would not trust in that situation right now. Najee didn't play. Kyrie didn't play. Grimes, I'm not sure that I want him on the ball. I'd rather have him be the shooter. And that's it. Like I don't want PJ bringing the ball up the floor in crunch time. Like that's it. So getting Dinwiddie those reps has been
Especially as you
been
continue to
important.
not have Dante Exum as well in that situation.
And look, he said experimenting, but again, I will continue to say that was just the post game quote.
Yeah.
I don't think like this is why Dinwiddie's out there. In today's NBA, the way it's worked, it's very interesting how it's really a phenomenon of the last 3 to 5 years, but like teams want more ball handling they always want more ball handling on the floor. Like it used to be, just you're one guy running the show, but like they want multiple ball handlers. And Spencer, that's why he's back, because 2 years, his previous stint, he showed the ability to play with Luka or Brunson or both of them if necessary. And he's shown that ability to be on the floor as the main ball handler or as a secondary or even third ball handler, and he finds a way to contribute in all those roles.
I wouldn't say like necessarily experiment like I'm going to hatch a plot and see what happens. I just think philosophically, like down the stretch, let's manufacture a way to get Kyrie a touch in a good position. Mm-hmm. Let's manufacture a way to get Luka a touch in a good position instead of having them try and break the whole team down. Because last season, for better or worse, the Mavs offense in crunch time was pretty much the same as it was whenever the Mavs were losing all these crunch time games earlier this year. Whenever everyone was complaining, it's just like Luka, go 1-on-5 and see what happens. And they just did it successfully enough to win a lot of those games. Luka and Kyrie did, but now they're actually kind of able to like run some stuff.
And I pretty much agree with every second of that. This isn't even a wet blanket. It's a blanket that should have been dried for like 5 more minutes in the dryer. Like you can barely tell it's even damp. I do think that Luka is learning to play. Luka is realizing that he has the most talent, the most depth, the best supporting cast he's ever had. And I do think that the balance of those role players being everything that we've seen them to be during the stretch, and also being that with Luka and with Kyrie on the court, I do think that's going to come over the next few weeks. And it might look every once in a while a little bit uncomfortable sometimes for Luka, sometimes for the role players. I also think Najee and Quentin, I think, are fantastic role players for this team. Spencer Dinwiddie has proven. I was never anti-Spencer. I don't think. You go back and listen to our million shows that we did in the offseason and tell me if I'm forgetting any points that I was vocally against him as a signing. I do think that he's riding a little bit hot right now, just like Najee was, and that Spencer's performance is maybe a little bit between. I do think other guards could have succeeded in that role. I don't think it's crazy to say. For me, it was always Markelle Fultz, who I thought made sense in that role. And who knows? Spencer is succeeding. It's objectively working, and that's all that really matters. There's no need to second guess it. It's not like some other player would be doing better. Some minimum player, 15th player on the roster, emergency point guard. Like Spencer is performing that role and more. I do think that sometimes it's not going to quite be this good, but oh my God, his passing has really, I did not remember him being this, and maybe it's improved, since his last stop in Dallas. His last stops in Dallas.
Mm-hmm. It's a more dynamic offense than 2022. 2022's offense was basically like corner guy,
stand there and shoot.
Yeah, everyone's kind of
there's more he can do.
in this offense. So there's more movement, kind of more stuff, more crevices to find.
So all of that is to say that I agree with y'all, and these role players are really good, and this really is the best depth that Luka's ever had on his team, and I personally remain excited to watch Dante Exum get back. I still think that he's a very good player. I think he's going to fit right in, and
it's almost time to start bugging you for updates about Exum too.
Yeah, okay. You got any?
I don't have one right now, but by the next time we get together, I will make sure that I have rectified
that. Perfect biz is what we call.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Dinwiddie's playmaking has been spectacular for this team, and along with the returning Luka Dončić, we're going to get into more of him coming up next segment as well. Bobby's got some really interesting things about some of the numbers behind tonight's game and the way that things started to shape, especially in that fourth quarter, that really was able to define how they got this done. But before we go to that break, though, I mean, Luka Dončić to kind of set this up going into our next segment. Luka Dončić, 36 points after missing 5 games, looked much more healthy, looked like a guy whose legs was a lot more under him, looked a lot more fluid as well. He played at the kind of level that you needed to have without Kyrie Irving in the lineup, who has been carrying this team, especially offensively, in a lot of ways over the last several games with Luka Dončić out. But, Tim, you said something that's very interesting in terms of how Luka Dončić trusting his teammates and having a chance to sit back and watch this group in front of him play and win games without him, and the various amount of guys that have had to contribute to these wins it only bodes well for the future of this team and how well they can play together as they get more time together on the floor. Now that Luka knows what each of these guys are capable of in big pressure moments, and they delivered once again. We are just 24 subscriptions away from 22 now subscribers away from reaching 11,000. So if you're in here for the first time, we really appreciate you joining us.
Complimentary of your outfit. I'm just laughing so hard at that, dude.
Before we go to break.
Can we throw cams on?
Before we go to break, we need likes. We need subscribes. Delete that ish comment. And
No, that's a compliment.
They like it, you fit.
You have that. You have it on. You
It is a
have
good
that
fit.
S on. Like
Yeah.
that means it's a good fit.
that's a compliment.
Yeah,
they like it.
That's not a compliment.
No, that is.
No,
That
I
is not a
promise you that's a
compliment.
compliment.
Have you ever heard guys say like, "Oh man, he put that S on"?
That is not
That is a compliment.
100% not.
You
a
giving us real
compliment.
grumpy
That is
old
a
man right now.
chat.
That's
Is
what
that
you're
a
doing,
compliment?
Stein.
That is
Say-
not
Tell
a compliment.
Stein.
Chat,
Why is
back
he
us
wearing
up.
that? That's what it says.
No.
No,
Like,
no.
why does he kind of like? Wait a minute. Why does he look so good? Like, why? Wait a
Like,
minute.
okay, let's translate it to like 90s.
Chat,
Oh,
are they
he's
telling
repping
me the
that.
truth? Because
You
I
know?
don't believe
he's
them.
rocking that.
No,
this
like-
is the new way to say, oh, he's rocking that.
It'd
He's
be like,
I don't
wow,
he's got
hold
that
up.
on.
This
Wait,
is a
he's got
setup.
that
This
on.
is a setup.
This
Hold
is
up,
what
wait a minute.
happens.
Do you think the three of us
Relax,
collectively are out
relax.
to get you?
Super Kev, Super
we're going to
Kev.
go to break.
Wait,
Y'all-
but wait. Like, subscribes, and flags. I love seeing the flags. Please keep the flags
Cam
coming.
just clarified it's a compliment. From the voice to the screen.
Cam, my
to the
apologies, and I appreciate the
microphone.
compliment. Thank you, Cam.
Coming up next here on the Dlls Mavs post-game show, Bobby's breakdowns on how this game got won by the Dallas Mavericks, plus more on 77's return and how spectacular he was in this one. And
We're
more
not
of-
clipping that either, Tanner.
We're
Don't even
hell
think
yeah, we're
about
clipping
it.
that.
We're
Yes.
putting it in the Slack at minimum.
We're
Don't
doing
even
all of
think
that
about
next
it.
here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. But let me talk to you about Sleeper first. I got ball knowers on set with me, and I know you're a ball knower as well because you've downloaded the Sleeper app. And if you haven't, I'm going to tell you why you need to download it right now. It's the best fantasy football league platform out there. You can put your ball knowledge to the test by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players will have more or less in their projected stats each week. Look, if you took Luka to have more than 30 points tonight, you were a winner on Sleeper because Luka Dončić put on an absolute show in his return with the Dallas Mavericks. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win all the way up to 100 times your money. Sleeper keeps you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news and major injuries as well, so you can stay ahead of the game and keep track of league updates in real time so you're always informed and ready to outsmart your friends. If you think you have what it takes, download the Sleeper app and use code DLLSMAVS. For a limited time, new users can now get their first deposit matched 100% up to $1,500, the largest deposit match offer ever. Remember, terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. And make sure you check out Sleeper today.
If you want to get fitted out like Mark Stein
If you want to
and
put
the
that ish
best
on,
sports gear around, if you want to have that S on, go to Foco right now. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. If you're going to a basketball or a hockey game, show off your love with a team-branded friendship bracelet.
Huh.
In fact, I'm on their website right now, and I'm just kind of looking around. They got backpacks, coolers, lunch bags, drawstring bags, gloves, mittens.
Gnomes?
What else we got here? They got gnomes. They got neon signs. They got wall signs. They have everything, just about. Almost everything. They've got
Gnomes.
nutcrackers even.
Ooh.
Yeah. I forgot that nutcrackers were a thing. Well, check out
Tis the
Foco.
season.
It is the season. Check out Foco.com. It is the season to check out Foco.com. Or click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use the promo code DLLS10 for 10% off. Go check out Foco.com.
Luka Dončić spectacular in his return tonight for the Dallas Mavericks as they are now 13-8 on the season with their 137-131 win. Now 7-2 versus teams below 500 as the Dallas Mavericks had 6 guys in double figures to get this team win. Coming up here in just a second, Bobby's going to break this down, how the Mavericks were able to get this done with some specific numbers that you got to look at, the way that both teams shot in this game, but also some dramatic moments in the fourth quarter. But before that, let's stop down on Luka Dončić for a second. We mentioned it going into the break, missing the last 5 games with that right wrist injury. He comes in tonight, plays 36 minutes, drops to 36 points, But more so than anything, gentlemen, Luka looked like Luka Dončić, the Luka that we're accustomed to seeing, the guy that's made the first team All-NBA 5 straight years. That looked like the player in a lot of ways tonight that we have been wanting to see. And Tim, I'll start with you. You started to point out, like, look, this is the Dončić that we were hoping and what the Mavericks are needing going forward. And we finally got it tonight in a big way for them with him taking over with Kyrie Irving being on the sidelines tonight.
He was just a shot maker again. And he's had so many games this season where one of the best shot makers alive, just about the best shot maker alive, minus 1 or 2 names, was not making shots at the rate, at the consistency, at the clip that we expect of him. That, and it's not our expectations, it's the expectations that he has set for us because we watch this player play basketball, and this is usually how often he makes them. Tonight, he was 15 of 24. I didn't even realize it was that efficient until I'm looking at the box score right now. But I knew, I could have said before I looked at the final, the absolute final line, those shots were just finally going in at the rate, at the consistency, and that matters. Obviously, him making shots is a good thing for the Dallas Mavericks. And it's just, the process was, I thought it was the best version of what we've seen this season, or it was the best version of what we saw before his injury. He took a lot of that. I still think that there's some adapting to this offense that Luka can do. I think there's some moments where he looked a little tired, looked like somebody who was just coming back, his first game back. But how many players in the NBA could come back their first game back, just drop 36, 13, 7, and
do it with that kind of efficiency that he did it with, knocking down 4 threes.
Seriously.
15 for 24.
Really
the only thing missing was the triple-double, which we thought he was going to get.
Came a few rebounds shy of that.
Well, to get 3 more rebounds, Portland would have had to miss a shot.
Yeah. And they were
What'd they shoot in the fourth quarter? They couldn't have missed more than 5 shots in the fourth quarter.
107%.
No, shot 70% in the second half.
Yeah, it was disgustingly absurd.
No, but like genuinely, Luka was unable to get a triple-double because there was not rebounds to go get.
No Mav had more than 7 rebounds tonight.
That's right. Yeah.
Also, Portland did turn it over 21 times. So like for
13
Dallas,
of which were
for
steals,
Dallas to have
by the
a
way.
good defensive possession, it was a turnover. It wasn't a missed shot. It was a turnover. That was almost their only option. Did they have more? Okay, they didn't have more.
Yeah, the Mavs had 13 steals tonight. Quentin Grimes had 5 of those steals, by the way. Luka Dončić had 3 steals himself. Yeah, Quentin Grimes was a thief tonight on the defensive end. But, Bobby, as you start to look at this game and break how this win got done for the Mavericks, some things stood out for you specifically when it came to the Mavericks and how well they shot, how well the Blazers shot, and what that meant for the way the game went tonight.
Yeah, just a little NBA history here that we saw tonight, folks. So consider yourself lucky. You saw something that not many people have ever seen before. Both the Mavs and the Blazers took more than 33s. Dallas went 18 of 36 from 3. That is 50%. Quick math to tell you that. Blazers 18 of 31, which is 58.1%. Both teams at least 33s. Both teams at least 50%. That is only the 12th time ever that has happened in an NBA game, and 4 of those instances happened during a season whenever everyone's percentages were all fake because there weren't fans allowed in the gym. And so this is some all-time rare stuff. The Blazers shooting 58.1% from 3 in a game when they took 33s and still losing. That is tied for the second highest opponent three-point percentage in a win on at least 33s ever. The only one that's higher is Washington winning a game somehow in 2008 when their opponent shot 59%. And Tim and I...
You guys don't even understand the depths of this jacket. So just end it.
It's a great jacket.
You and Tanner are sending little signals to each other.
Oh, no, I was not talking about your jacket.
He was talking about me. He was talking about me.
You were kind of talking on beat.
Yeah, no, I know.
I was like nodding my head on beat.
I was really
but then you got off rhythm.
Point home.
So actually, me and Tanner were talking about
They don't believe you in the
else.
chat. They don't believe you.
It's a Man City jacket. It's a cool jacket.
But so
I actually have questions, but we can save it.
Whenever Simons got going in the third quarter, the Mavs started feeling the pressure, and they started coming to the pressure, which I didn't like. They started doubling him, which I didn't like. I don't think you should ever double team a player in the NBA anymore. It's like I get on here all the time and I beg opposing coaches to double team Luka, and the Blazers did tonight, and I bet they feel great about that choice. But they started doubling Simons. They reacted to that. They did not overreact to anything else, though. And I'm totally fine with that. When the other team is shooting great, you got a bunch of guys that are out of their mind that are shooting, again, 20, 30, 40 percentage points higher than their season average. I'm not going to sell out and run them off the line. I'm not going to change the way that I'm defending them. So, the Mavs defensive rating in this game is ghastly. A lot of that, though, is because the Blazers just had, for them, probably what will be their best shooting night of the season. And that's even beyond Simons. Simons was unbelievable today, but he was 6 of 8. The rest of the team was 12 of 23. They still shot better than 50%. And again, this is the worst shooting team in the league, like kind of by far. They're really bad. Not anymore. Not anymore. The one thing that I didn't like defensively was in the fourth quarter. Part of it was because the Blazers were just sending Dinwiddie's man to Avdija, but Dinwiddie kept on getting matched up against Avdija, and Avdija was bully balling him, and it was really, I thought some of it was size and strength issues. I thought some of it was Dinwiddie just was not moving his feet very well. It's late in the game. He was probably a little tired. He played 34 minutes or whatever, but I mean, he was getting like cooked by Avdija, and it wasn't beating him around the corner. It was like, I'm just going to go right through you.
Yeah.
And that was pretty tough, but I'm not trying to pick on Spencer. I'm just saying in that situation, when it's very clear that the Blazers are trying to get their big, tall guy on the Mavs' smaller guy, I would have tried something else, like maybe some pre-switching or something. But the last time the Mavs tried to pre-switch, they gave up a dunk. So in a game in Utah that we don't talk about anymore. So maybe it's for the best that they didn't try that. But if there was one defensive adjustment that I would have made tonight, it would have been that. But luckily, it ended up not mattering.
Yeah, because Denny Avdija decided that he was going to be kind of the one-man offense when he saw Spencer Dinwiddie on him and was able to take advantage of that. But again, playing with composure down the stretch, obviously one of the biggest calls of the game was Spencer Dinwiddie drawing what became a defensive foul on Denny Avdija, then knocking down 2 free throws to help win this game for Dallas. But yeah, it was kind of nightmarish the way that Avdija was kind of punishing Spencer Dinwiddie on what felt like each and every time down the floor. But to withstand the kind of shooting that the Blazers did tonight, and then for the Mavericks to return the favor themselves, I mean, look, the Mavericks shot 55% from the field, and as Bobby mentioned, going 50% from downtown. That's some absurd shot making themselves from a Mavericks team that had no Kyrie, had no Klay Thompson, had no Najee Marshall, but yet and still was able to get 6 guys in double figures. Quentin Grimes with the 28 points. We mentioned Luka with the 36. I mean, Jaden Hardy in this game had 13 points. He went 3 of 6 from downtown as well. There were a lot of guys that did a lot of different things, and I know folks jumping in the chat, jumping all over Maxi Kleber as well. It wasn't necessarily great tonight, but you think about the rotation that the Mavericks had to run out there. Max even got 3 minutes in this game, wasn't very effective, but he was, I guess, neutral, didn't have a point, but was still a 0, I guess, if you're looking at the box score. But that's the kind of rotation. My point is that's the kind of rotation you were dealing with tonight, and you had to go get a lot of it from your starters. Spencer Dinwiddie in that second half was really able to contribute from a scoring standpoint, but for the most part, you had to go get it from your starters because it wasn't going to come really much from anywhere else tonight in this game.
Yeah, Maxey at this point is not really, he's just not an offensive player right now. Doesn't have a lot of confidence in his shot. He tried to make something happen off the dribble and ended up missing the shot at the rim, which was fine. I like the aggression, but yeah, a lot of their best players were out tonight. They were down 3 starters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of players were put in position or being asked to do things that they normally wouldn't do, playing more minutes or shouldering more responsibility or taking different shots or whatever, trying to make things happen. And sometimes whenever that's the case, you're going to make some mistakes and it's going to look kind of weird.
Can't get over Grimes, though, how well he's playing, really.
Yeah.
Like he's played, how many games in a row has he been better than the last game? 4, 5?
When does it end?
I don't know.
Hopefully it
Tuesday?
doesn't.
You think he goes for 30?
It will end at some point. I do not think he's going to just keep upping his scoring and get into the 30s.
You sound like a naysayer right now, Mark.
It could happen.
You're a doubter.
I'm just,
We got believers in the chat or we got
Mark.
doubters in the chat?
Can we get you to promise to I don't even know what, but can we get you to promise to do something if he keeps upping it for let's say 5 more games? He sets a new team high.
What's his career high?
33.
36.
36?
36.
Oh, well. It was against the Mavs, right?
And what are his last few games?
Wasn't?
No.
He had 28 tonight. He's had a 26-point game.
22 to 26 to 28.
Yep.
5 more games with
Well, let's just put it to
33
the
against the Mavs. 36.
Let's just put it to the chat.
You have to
Let's just put it to the
give
chat.
that jacket
How many-
to a random person in the chat if for 5 more games.
No, he could do it for 500 more games. Nobody's getting this jacket. And not even Cam, who loves the jacket. I'm just going to ask the chat, can Grimes score? Tanner, can we do a poll question? Does Grimes score more than 28 points Tuesday night in that cup?
It's the cup. The cup is on the line
against Memphis. Does Grimes go for more than 28? Yes or no?
He's bringing his A game.
Can we put that in the chat?
Can I actually? Well, you may not have a good answer. It does seem like the team's setting up to be the healthiest it's been in a while.
And that's why, respectfully, I'm like, I hope not. Low key, I hope he doesn't have to go for 30 in a game against the Memphis Grizzlies.
That's my answer.
I mean, I would say, how do we know? We don't. I mean, Clay, Najee,
but
Kyrie.
Najee is sick. I would be surprised if Najee is not back on Tuesday at home. Again, I'm not the Stein line. I'm not the Cato line. I'm not being the Cato line right now. I am saying, based off my understanding that Najee was sick and then couldn't play one sick day later, it would make sense if he's back Tuesday. It would make sense if a Derek Lively, who seemed upbeat on the bench, Saturday night, was back on Tuesday. I don't know about that one. That one is a knee thing. But it does seem like both stars are finally potentially back together. And so I'm just saying that's probably going to affect the poll question for Quentin Grimes.
Y'all keep throwing that in the chat. I'm seeing folks saying if Grimes keeps this up, that Mark has to wear a Manchester United jacket. He will not do that. Trust me, he will not, unfortunately. But
would you wear a Borussia Dortmund jacket?
Probably not.
No. He's got his team.
It's a different league.
He's going to stick.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't
Dallas
matter.
Sidekicks?
I would happily wear it.
Let's go.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, well, that's also a
Do you want me
different
to wear my
league.
Dallas Sidekicks jersey?
That's also a different league.
Coming up next year on the Dlls Mavs post-game show, more on this win. Plus, Mark Stein's got some news and notes.
I do?
You do. We'll find some. If you don't have any, we'll find some. We'll do all that coming up next year on the Dlls Mavs post-game show.
But first, shout out to Sam, shout out to Robert, shout out to Allison. Those are our 3 newest diehards. If you go to alldls.com/diehard for less than $7 a month, and actually might even be less than that because it is Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Woo! You can gain access to all the premium written content on our website. You can join the DLLS Diehard Discord server. You get a free shirt when you sign up, and you get a discount on merch. And speaking of a discount on merch, gentlemen, we got a whole lot of stuff on sale at store.allcitynetwork.com. You can scan the QR code right down there. You can click the link in the description right down there. Or what else? What's the other thing you can do? You can just go to store.allcitynetwork.com.
You read this every time.
Any number
looked at
of
me
our
like I would know.
posts on the internet will take you there. Everything on the site is at least 30% off. Some things are even 75% off. If you can even count that high, that's how many threes the Blazers hit tonight, for God's sake. And we got a bunch of new stuff in addition to our shirts and our hoodies. We got pint glasses. We got other glassware. We got mugs. We got flags, including flags themed after local colleges, not including the University of Texas at Dallas. So if we need any T-Mock designs, just let me know. I can put some together. I'd be happy to do that. Mark, you a big UTD fan? Would you wear a UTD jacket? Comets basketball jacket? All right, well, I'll maybe whenever we come out with UTD themed merch, I'll get Mark one. But if you want to do some shopping for yourself or for some loved ones with the holidays around the corner, or with some friends or family or whatever,
71, 72,
go to
73, 74,
store.allcitynetwork.com.
I can't count that high, but that's how long it took.
Nice.
That's how big the discount is.
Wow,
From
that
the
is
moment
huge.
you said, can you count to 75 to right now?
I can't even fathom.
That's a huge discount.
I can't even fathom.
I
And
legitimately
so,
counted
So yeah, go do that and change the world.
Store.allcitynetwork.com. Get your incredible merchandise, 30% off some items, all the way up to 75% off. Really appreciate you joining us here on the DLS Mavs postgame show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe while you are here. Also, download and subscribe to the podcast. Give it a 5-star rating and write a review for it. While you're there, Tanner, can you give me an update? How many subscribers are we away from 11,000? We are 10 subscribers away from 11,000.
If you can even count that high.
That means I need 10 of you right now.
Wait a minute. I just remembered. I have a friend on the UTD roster. Yes, I would wear that jacket.
Okay. All right. All right. How about that?
Austin Page, shout out.
Subscribe while you're here.
Oh, yeah?
Again, 10 away from 11,000. So if you're new here, we really appreciate you joining us here on the Dlls MAVS postgame show after the Mavericks get the 137. Stop talking over there.
We're having a moment. Come on,
it's
man.
off mic.
We're having a UTD moment over here.
I just wanted to see. What would happen.
Runs a tight ship.
I really just wanted to see what would
Cam.
happen if I did that. How y'all
Can't
would
celebrate
react.
our friends being great.
Y'all gave me the
here at
reaction
DLLS Sports.
that was.
I want a
looking for.
DLS Austin Page UTD shirt
That's
that you're going to make me.
I don't know if they do NIL stuff in D2, but 7 subs away from 11K. Let's effing go.
Let's go. Let's
Really,
get
7?
it there.
7
Yeah.
away.
7 subscribes, some likes, some flags. We don't ask for much.
But we appreciate you joining us here. Let's continue to talk about this game.
5. Come on. Sorry, that was really loud.
That was
bad.
pure excitement.
Here,
I love that from
let me
you.
get real quick.
I love
Let me give you
that.
some
The mic
inside baseball,
easily.
everybody. This is really important. Real quick. Every Monday, the Corellustrator sends a staff-wide note recapping the previous week.
That's a secret.
It would make his Monday if he can tell everybody that this show pushed us past the 11,000 subscriber mark. So
This is the
please,
second time we have done a
3
mark like
away.
this.
just
Rate D91. Just hit subscribe.
Hit.
Let's go.
I'm sorry. It was too funny not to read it like that. I'm not making fun.
Let's get to a super
How many
chat from
rounds?
our intrepid GM Ben. I love you, GM Ben. Even though he lost last night. Chelsea,
Hey.
go third.
I'm not a City fan. I have
City
no
free fall
Prem
to
team.
fifth.
But
Great day.
Ben.
Okay, what are you saying? This is not good for the podcast portion.
Big
portion of
draw
this.
rose Crystal Palace out of the relegation zone, so we're feeling good.
Oh, we're one away
sub away.
from 11,000
Change the world.
subscribers.
Change the world. Change the and our lives.
Tanner,
And
delete
mine. No.
GM Ben. Just delete him.
No, we can't. He literally paid money to.
you
pick
know
the
11K,
company.
we did it.
Woo!
We did it.
11,000
Let's
subscribers.
go!
Thank you.
Oh, no,
That's
yeah, we
right,
gotta keep
Cam.
streaming.
I love you.
The
I thought we
Monday,
were
Someone just
done when we hit
unsubbed.
11,000.
the Monday note is
Whoever
going to
unsub-
sing.
No, someone just unsubscribed. And
Are
whoever
you
did
serious?
That, you're
That
on
better
my
not
list.
be John. That better not be John doing
That
that
is
again.
definitely producer John Anderson.
That-
We're back. We did it.
We're
We did
back to
it.
11,000.
We did it.
Okay. As you continue to
Can we
subscribe.
delete producer John Anderson?
No, he can't. He works here. Let's continue to
That
subscribe.
actually does mean we could delete.
Oh, gosh, Tim. Continue to subscribe while you're here as we continue to celebrate
John.
the Mavericks win 137 to 131. Mark, I want to bring you in because obviously for a team that has dealt with a lot of injuries so far this year, Luka missing the last 5 games, PJ Washington missing a handful of games due to injury, Derek Lively missing games due to injury. There has been a lot of guys that have been in and out of the lineup, but yet and still this team continues to find ways to win games, and they do it again tonight in the return of 77. But in your mind and what you've observed from this team, how have they continued to do this with the amount of bodies in and out of the lineup that they've had so far this year?
Well, I mean, look, we said coming in the season that this team was deep. I think the way they started, we questioned it. But I think the way they've bounced back from the 5-7 start, the way they've bounced back from the 4-game losing streak has validated it. And tonight is another one of those nights. Because on one hand, Portland, if Blazer fans were in here, they'd say, what are you talking about depth? Luka comes back tonight. Okay, yes, Luka came back and was obviously massive, but you're missing basically 3 starters, and Exum still hasn't played, and they look like a deep team right now. And again, this is where I wish we could, I wish we did have someone on the ground in Portland, or somehow we could transport ourselves into the press conference room, because if Grimes did post-game media tonight, I would just love to hear him talk about how dramatically things have turned around for him, from getting called out, from getting a DNP to this point where we can actually throw up a poll question. Is Quentin Grimes going to score more than 28 points on Tuesday night? I mean, he is really been a solid contributor. And again, like, you know, when the guys that it was a huge, this summer, one of the big things going in the offseason was, are they going to be able to find a trade taker for Tim Hardaway Jr.? And they successfully did that. And if they don't do that, they can't create the salary cap space they needed to pull off the Klay Thompson sign and trade. But I heard from a lot of teams, the reaction was, wow, and they got Grimes too. They didn't just find that trade taker for Hardaway Jr., but got Grimes in that deal. And that was, I mean, that trade is obviously, again, you can't make absolute declarations after 21 games, but a quarter of the way into the season, that trade is looking very, very good for Dallas.
It looked great the moment it happened, man. I'm not gonna lie. But that's just my opinion. That's my
Grimes,
opinion only.
I agree. Grimes was a little erratic early in the season. He was trying to find his place in the offense. Some of it was just that Luka was playing all this iso ball. The easy shots weren't coming, but he also wasn't sure how to find them. One thing we criticized early on was, or at least I did, was just like a little too happy to pull the trigger. And I think we've seen that evolve appropriately, where every once in a while he's trying to do a little bit too much, but he's trying to do a little bit too much in a way that is going to work out more often than not. Like this is a guy who's getting 4-point plays. He's, consistently running one-man fast breaks. And yes, sometimes he tries to split a double, tries to go 3-on-1 and turns it over. That happened tonight. But he also scored 2 or 3 times out of transition. And so I think we saw a player that just is more bedded in to this team and what they want of him and what they're asking of him. And I'm really curious whether that DMP had any effect on it, whether it did, whether it didn't. I agree that is something that I'm curious. So we should be hoping he scores more. Sets another team high on Tuesday. So he goes to the podium again. Then I'll ask that
question. Or just
question.
score enough to get to the podium. Whatever the number is.
True.
Enough to continue to have an impact on the game. And again, I think for me, the overarching theme of what we've seen in these last several games without Luka Dončić, that is something to think about moving forward for this team as they get healthier as the season goes on. Guys are responding in big time situations and consistently performing at a level that's allowing this team to win games. And it's not like Luka Dončić hasn't trusted teammates throughout the course of his career. Hell, you don't get to an NBA Finals without learning how to lean and trust on your teammates. But one of the emphases of this team going into this year is trying to reduce the workload on Luka Dončić, taking him off the ball a little bit, allowing other guys
and a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, not in any way that would impact how much usage he needs to have in order to help this team win games, but enough to allow him to be the kind of player for a full 82-game season and then into a postseason to allow this team to take that final step in winning an NBA championship. Nights like this and games that we've seen over the last 4 or 5 should, at least in my mind for Dončić, give him the confidence that, hey, Spencer's playing well, Quentin Grimes is playing well, Najee Marshall, PJ Washington, the guys that are being asked to play bigger roles are responding to it. And that, for me, if I'm Dončić, should make me feel good about what I can depend on for the rest of the regular season that will allow this team to continue to flourish and be able to win games in situations where you may not have all 5 of your best guys on the floor at the same time. That's what a win like this and what we've seen over the last several games speaks to me about what this team could do for the rest of the year.
Yeah, one more thing about Grimes. So he, the Josh Green thing is, I mean, I honestly do believe that. I've said that multiple times. He reminds me a lot of Josh Green. He gets fouled shooting threes a lot. Tonight he fouled a 3-point shooter. That's a Josh Green special. He makes a lot of kind of really creative passes with flair. Like he's very similar to Josh Green. He even kind of dunks like Josh Green, though he's not as explosive a leaper. But
before you finish, for those of you who are watching on our fast channels, we really appreciate you joining us on our show. Stay with us here on our YouTube channel on DLS Sports for the continuation of our Dlls MAVS postgame show. But really appreciate all of you who are had joined us here on our show tonight.
Nailed the Fast Channel 59.
He did it.
Nailed it.
Absolutely crushed it.
That was Nadia Comaneci level of stuck to 10.
I'll trust him on that one. You all know that
We
one?
definitely know what Mark Stein is
Yeah.
talking about.
Oh
on
Oh
this
my
show.
goodness.
Bobby,
We are the Mark
I
Stein
do,
knowers
yes.
on this show.
You guys don't know like the greatest Olympic gymnast performance ever.
She had the
Is it
first
the
ever
one where she
perfect.
broke her
Come
knee or
on, man.
She had the first ever
Perfect 10.
in
Oh.
Olympic
All right,
competition.
we're at
Don't
a fast.
kick your feet up on the table, you
No,
freak.
we're done with fast.
No,
We're
don't
chilling.
do that.
Damn.
The thing about
Head of content Corellustrator just came out there for a second. Wow.
the thing about Grimes that reminds me a lot of Josh Green as well was on display tonight, which is he's kind of like the open floor dude on this team. Like Kyrie
Yeah.
is still really, really fast. Hardy might be the fastest player on the teams, but Grimes tonight had 5 steals, turned those into a lot of fast break points. I don't know how many fast break points he scored, but the Mavs had 28 as a team in wins this season. So Grimes has now played 19 games this year. He missed 2. In the 12 games he's played where the Mavs have won, 26.2% of his points have been fast break points. 26.2% of his points coming in the open floor. At home, almost 34% of his total points are fast break points. For the season, about 23% of them are. So in the half court, he's knocking down some shots, and every now and then he's doing something cool off the dribble. That's great. That's awesome. That's sick. But really, like, you know, I was kind of worried about what's going to happen to this team in transition whenever you lose Josh Green and Derek Jones, who were probably the 2 most dynamic guys in the open floor on your team last year, whenever the whole deal was, look at the Mavs, they're running so much.
Lob City in North Texas.
Quentin Grimes
gonna
is
say
like
the South.
kind of that. I mean, he's not throwing lobs, but like he's kind of the open floor guy.
Yeah, I agree. No, he's been that.
Thank you.
That was Tanner. Don't laugh. That was not an awkward pause. I
No,
picked
no,
it up.
it wasn't. It wasn't. No.
Yeah, I picked it up.
Tim
I
picked up
agree.
what
I
you guys
wasn't really
putting down.
progressing the conversation. I was just I was hoping someone would bail me out.
No,
And-
you're
and-
fine.
and
You
this
landed
is-
it. It's kind of like Josh Green.
Not like
Somebody
Nadia.
bail him out. He's in
Yeah.
the air. He doesn't know what to do necessarily. He's like, please, somebody save me. I'm
And
in
this
the
is-
air.
Look, it's. If I can't put my feet up, I'm gonna hold the mic, even if I can't hold it like I want to.
Don't piss off Stein. Okay, he's already in a mood as
Well, I
it is.
can't
Don't
take it
think
out
about
of this
you
little
right
socket, but I agree. You're right. I didn't have anything to add to that because
Wow,
I already
both
talked
guys
about
in
it.
the air.
I
Full
know.
Josh Green
No.
have no
I
idea where to
already,
land,
I
where to
already
pass.
said very similar things.
Oh my!
So you played off me, and then you played it back to me, and I'm like, yeah, I can say the same stuff again. But yeah, I really like Quentin Grimes as a player. Aesthetically, I think he's enjoyable to watch, and I think that every basketball player, except myself, should be aesthetically pleasing to watch.
He shoots a lot like Chandler
Or you shouldn't
Parsons.
play basketball,
Really
except for
high
me.
release, kind of almost shoots it on the way down.
He jumps
Also
like
very
10 feet
flat.
in the air on every jump shot.
Yeah,
it
very
feels
very
like.
flat shot too, but it works for him.
Let us know how you're feeling in the chat as well. I want to see more of what you guys are feeling about this win. Give me a vibe check in the chat of how you're feeling about the Mavericks who are 1-8.
There's still more than 400 sickos in here hanging out with us right now.
because the
Well, it's a
Mavs
Sunday and
are
we've done
rolling
two.
right now.
And I have to say, guys, we were having our pre-show meeting. I threw it out there and said, what kind of crowd are we going to get? And all these guys said that it was going to be a robust audience. And
Oh, yeah, I
KG was
said we
losing
should
the
everyone
cover
in the
tonight.
chat proved the squad right.
Um,
More than 500 watchers at the peak.
Almost
said-
200 likes already. I
Lot of-
want to get to 200
lot of
likes.
flags. I said on the pregame
which
show.
always pleases me.
I said
Yes.
on the pregame show we're gonna have every 7 continents represented. Remember when I said that before the show?
No.
No, I don't.
You said it
Um,
that grammatically
That must have been when
poorly.
I was doing the
Yeah.
notion.
But I do
Yeah,
want
you
to
must have
get
been doing the
real
notion.
quick. I do want 200 likes
like a
before we get out
dance.
of here. We're at what $1.78 in terms of likes.
Like a
So
Janelle
I
Pop.
need 30. I need 22 more likes. 22 more likes to get to 200 on a live show. I know there are 22 of you in there that haven't liked the video yet. So please hit the like button while you're here and help us beat the algorithm while you're watching the show. I see
Yeah,
the
no one
likes,
likes robots. Let's beat them. Let's beat them down.
like
Hammer
the-
them into submission.
like the
No, we
Mavericks.
still need the algorithm.
By the way, gentlemen, as we take a quick look around the association, Denver lost again tonight. As they lost to the Los Angeles Clippers.
So our DNVR colleagues were steamed about that. I don't know if there was some sus officiating or what. But
So you know how I got you?
the Kings
you,
lost again too. The Spurs, by the way, are over 500.
Bobby, you remember when you yelled at
The
me when I
Kings
tried
are
to show a
having some
soccer game on our
issues.
feed, and I was like, okay, that's not the right thing. Is DNVR going right now, and could I show their feed? Can I just like listen to it right now?
No.
Stay locked in.
Yeah, stay locked in. What we got going on here.
Like, can I turn this?
Don't ADHD
Or is it like
No.
Oblivion.
Is there like copyright violations
Don't
if
play
I
the
turn
audio.
our own company's feed into this feed?
Don't play the audio.
I'm not going to play
Appreciate
the audio.
compliments.
But can I show the feed?
No.
Okay, well I can't do that.
Shout out to y'all who are giving us love in the
I'm
chat.
just testing the boundaries of what I can get away with on this show.
Who are saying we have one of the best Mavericks podcasts out there. We really appreciate that because we work hard for y'all. Maybe they don't know, but we all work hard to give you the best product. Bobby works extremely hard. He works actually too hard sometimes.
We all work hard.
We do. But we
Together.
really appreciate you rewarding us and feeling like we are giving you the best product out there possible. But yeah, let's take a quick look around the league real quick before we do get out of here, because the Mavericks get back on the floor on Tuesday when they welcome in a hot Memphis Grizzlies team. By the way, if you're looking at the NBA Western Conference standings, the Grizzlies currently right now have the longest winning streak in the West at 6 straight. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games, 14-7 on the year. The Mavericks currently have the second longest win streak in the Western Conference right now, having won. I said 3 straight. I meant to say 4 straight earlier. They've won 4 straight games, and 8-2 in their last 10. But the current up-to-date Western Conference standings: OKC sitting there at number 1 at 15-5. The Houston Rockets got a win tonight over those very same Oklahoma City Thunder, so they're now 15-6 on the year. Fred VanVleet went for 38 points in that game for Houston. Memphis at number 3, Golden State at number 4, Dallas at 13-8 sit there at the 5th seat, and the Los Angeles Lakers at 12-8 are the 6th team in the top 6 of the West, followed by the Clippers, Suns, Nuggets, and yes, the San Antonio Spurs, who after 20 games are 2 games above 500 at 11-9. That just kind of gives you a picture of what the West is looking like. The Mavericks are tied. They're a game behind the Memphis Grizzlies right now for the 3rd spot in the West. Golden State at 12-7. Dallas at 13-8. So the Mavericks, who boy, what was 11th or 12th in the West about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, after that 4-game losing streak to the Utah Jazz, have made a steady climb up the Western Conference, Mark Stein, and has become what we knew it was going to be, a competitive Western Conference so far through the first 20, 21 games from most teams.
And I think if we actually did, if we would have registered when this team was 5-7, if we would have said, what do we think their record will be at the quarter mark? I don't know that any of us would have been at 13-8 after that Utah game. We don't need to say 5-7 start, just after that Utah game. I wasn't feeling it.
I wasn't feeling it either.
I wasn't feeling a road win in
looking forward
OKC
to-
without Luka to start this surge.
Looking forward to a nice mid-April vacation a couple weeks ago.
I mean,
And now I'm looking ahead
but
to hotels in June.
If you had
that's where
told
you
me
are?
third-
Or at least in Vegas anyway for the NBA Cup.
But if a week before that you had said 13-8, you probably would have been disappointed with it. I mean, this is how the NBA regular season goes. I don't know. I'm such a
It's a snapshot in time, dude. It's okay.
Exactly,
It's okay to have feelings.
well, I don't. I'm a robot. I am the algorithm that
We're
you're
supposed-
trying to
all right,
defeat.
I need to hammer your face in.
No, don't do that.
That's not a threat of violence. It's a joke.
It's not a threat. It's not a threat. 6 more likes away from 200 live likes on the video. I need those 6 likes before we end the show. We have surpassed the 11,000 subscriber mark as well here on Dlls Sports on YouTube. So thank you for that as well. We really appreciate all of you. But look, we'll look back. I know Bobby doesn't want to talk about the Utah game as much, but we're going to look back at the moment. And I think you had said this as well, Bobby, that was going to be one of the watershed moments of the season. Since that time, the Mavericks, of course, played that game in Utah and lost on what was November the 14th. We are now at December 1st. They've lost once since November the 14th. That is how good this team has been, and used what was a wake-up call. And even PJ Washington talked about it during the course of what has been this hot play for the Mavericks. They had a meeting after that Utah game, said, look, we got to be better, and we've got to play better as a team. And collectively, they have done that. If you're a fan of this team, you are loving what you're watching from this team. And now Luka Dončić is healthy as well. Hopefully for this team, they will continue to keep the good times rolling, because right now they are playing some of the best basketball, not just in the Western Conference, but right now in the association period. That is how good Dallas has been over the last, 2.5 weeks at this point. So,
Man, this DNVR chat is hot.
what are they saying about what happened tonight for them?
Were the Nuggets at home tonight?
A lot.
The Nuggets were on.
They said Malone is a pretender. They said every nugget is not good, which is a kind of running bit of theirs. Kind of funny. They're very mad at the 3-point shooting. They said, blame Murray. They said it in all caps.
Okay.
He ain't getting it done.
They were on the road tonight, Mark.
They're mad at Calvin Booth. They're mad at MPJ, who only got 1 3-point attempt up.
Okay.
Damn, that actually is kind of crazy.
We're not going to recap.
I'm
just
summarizing.
joking.
I'm summarizing, you know?
Uh,
we're at minute 70 of this show.
Yeah, we're about to go.
Yeah,
We're got to go.
yeah,
I need
yeah.
2 more likes before we do because
Minute 70 is when you just start reading our sister feed chats. Although we can read our chat too. Is there anything that we did not say about this game or that we need to say about the very, very, very important looming cup game coming up on Tuesday and the implications therein?
If they beat Memphis, it's away to Houston. Is that pretty much where it is?
In all likelihood, yes. Like there are very distant scenarios. Like there are point margin scenarios where somebody could have a 50-point win and Dallas has a 1-point win, or like even a 10-point win. I believe, and they could be surpassed.
So can they win a road game in Houston to book a trip to Vegas?
Yeah, Luka loves cooking the Houston Rockets, so
Be annoying to
Have
have
they
to
not
play them
played yet?
5 times this season.
Yeah.
That would be annoying. That's a tough team to play 5 times.
Ben, you're doing a lot. The White Power.
Oh yeah. They played. They played. They
no?
played 5th again. Sorry, It's late.
But yeah.
That felt like a.
Has anyone ever been
What was-
banned from the chat? Because I have a first nominee.
I love how he gets after Ben on every show, like literally every show.
Very
we can
bold.
ban Ben.
I will
Jeez.
say
Yeah,
this.
And my
power.
ban list only runs
No,
one.
I'm just
deep-
saying,
one-
like
it only
there's an
runs one
ability-
deep.
There's an ability on YouTube.
He
All right,
can.
I have to write
I
the
wouldn't
post-game
suggest
article.
doing that,
Can I,
Tanner.
I'm going to
But
start writing the article.
Yeah. Go ahead.
we need
You
one
wanna
more.
tag
Oh,
team it?
there it
No,
is.
it's Google
200 likes on the live video. We really appreciate that.
Thank you all for making burners.
Yeah, thank you. Last thing I'll say before we get out of here, and you guys can respond the way that you want to. I'm officially concerned about Klay Thompson's foot. I'm officially concerned at this point. The left plantar
Yeah, I saw
fascia-
you tweet that earlier today.
Yeah, man.
Which kind of backed up what I said last time. I think my answer to you when you last asked me about it was, no matter what I say, you're going to be concerned about it, and you proved me correct.
Yeah, because now it's I know he got some shots up in practice the other day, but he was ruled out yesterday that he was not going to play in tonight's game. So hopefully Klay gets back as soon as he can. But a plantar fascia injury is nothing to play with. But I just wanted to put that on record that I'm officially concerned about Klay Thompson's left foot.
But like, in what ways are you concerned?
Well, he's 34 years old, and plantar fascia injuries, even for young men, are difficult to come back from.
Is 34 young?
It's 34 young?
Yeah.
Relatively, yes.
Okay.
Basketball-wise.
I'm in the vicinity, so I wanted to check.
Yeah. Basketball-wise, and the amount of years that Klay Thompson's played,
I feel like I am.
that's a lot more. So we will see how he recovers from that. But yeah, that's a difficult injury to come back from, but we will find out as the days go on here. Any final words before we get out of here? We set records tonight. 11,000 subscribers, 205 now live likes.
The most
video.
made threes from an opponent of all time.
We was cooking like the Blazers were from the 3-point line tonight, I would like to say.
Yeah, don't apologize for a win. Just don't do it.
Don't apologize
were-
ever.
Mavs were down.
You've
whatever.
never done anything wrong,
3 of
and
their.
you shouldn't apologize.
They were down 3 starters,
right.
and Najee, who's been one of their best 2 or 3 players over the last few weeks, and they won on the second night of the back-to-back against a team that had its best shooting night probably the last 5 years or something. Like, you do not apologize for a win like that. Great job by the team to go 2-0 on this little junket to the Northwest. Great job. Great
It
job.
all rides on Tuesday. Cup night.
Cup night
At the
Cup
AAC.
at the American Airlines Center. We will be back on Tuesday. We're off tomorrow on Monday. We played a back-to-back just like the Mavericks did. So we're going to take the day off tomorrow.
It's like
And
our first
then-
off day in a year.
Relax, Tim. It's not been that long. We'll be
We're
back
off on
on
Thursday.
Tuesday, though. Our pregame show will begin at 7 p.m. with tip-off at 7:30 as the Mavericks look to clinch a spot in the NBA Cup quarterfinals, or the knockout stage, as Mark would like to call it. So join us there on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for our Dlls Maavs pregame show. and we'll have some fun then. But the Mavericks win 137-131. Their 4th straight win, 8th win in the last 9 games, 77 returns.
Some of us will even be suited and booted for that cup game.
With a vengeance.
Oh, yeah, suited and booted. What do you mean? Oh, sorry. Like wearing a suit, but where's the boots?
That's Brit speak for.
Oh, okay.
It's time to go.
game clothes.
You gonna be wearing
Jacket
sneaks?
on.
What are you gonna be wearing?
Thank you for joining us here on the
Super Ken's trying to end the show. Let's let him end the
Who
show.
will you be wearing?
For
Let's
Mark
let him end the
Stein,
show.
Bobby Carella, Tim Cato, I'm merely your host, Kevin Gray. Thank you so much for joining us here on the postgame show. We'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Great effort tonight, everyone. Beautiful.
7
Beautiful work.
p.m.
LFG.
for the pregame show. We'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.